welcome to this Big Hearts 2012 Scottish Cup Final rerun with several key members of the Hearts side that pulled off one of the most significant victories in the club's entire history. I'm Anthony Brown and I covered the Edinburgh Derby at Hampden 8 years ago as a journalist for the Edinburgh Evening News. I'm joined by 6 players from Paolo Sergio's starting lineup from the 19th of May 2012. We are going to relive the match together over the next 90 minutes or so while raising awareness and hopefully a few quid in donations for Big Hearts, an official charity partner of Hearts Football Club, who are doing some incredible work to support some of the most vulnerable individuals and families in the community. Big Hearts' work is especially important during the current challenging times we are all facing amid the coronavirus crisis. So please take a few moments after this Zoomcast to check out what they are up to and lend your support. So, in no particular order, I'd just like to introduce the Hearts heroes of 2012 who are taking part. We have Jamie MacDonald, the goalkeeper. We have Danny Grainger, scorer of the 3rd goal. We have Andrew Driver, who played on the left wing. We have Stephen Elliott, who played in attack. And we have Andy Webster and Ian Black, who was man of the match that day. So all of us are going to have the game running simultaneously on separate devices next to our main screen. So if you're watching at home, you might want to get the game up on YouTube so you know exactly which moment of the 5-1 victory we are discussing at any particular moment. So guys, if we can all get the links up, and I'll do a wee countdown to kick us off. 3, 2, 1, go. Right, so guys, we're off and running. I mean, what's your feelings at this stage, Andy Webster? What was your feeling at this stage? Are you nervous? Are you confident? What was going through your head? Did you sort of kick off the match?
I think probably one of the relief just to get the game started. Well, any cup final is a massive build-up, and even more so to this one as well. So I think as a football player, once the ref blows the whistle, it's down to business.
Was anybody nervous? Was anybody really worried that what if we lose this game? Or were you all full of belief, full of confidence going into it?
Me, I spewed in the back of my net in the warm-up. I've done it. I was
covered half of Hampden toilet and spew as well.
Just for me, it was just I think the pressure, because the pressure was all on us, because we'd beat them obviously throughout the season that year. So I just felt the pressure was all on us.
Really? You were actually physically sick?
Yeah, in the back of the goal, doing the warm. I think it was a shooting in the warm-up, and just need to be sick in the back of the net, and it's the one and only time it's ever happened.
I mean, the noise when you were lining up for kick-off, I mean, I was sitting at the sidelines, I was thinking, how can these guys hold it together here? Were you just totally in the zone, focused on making a fast start? Driver?
Yeah, I think what you say when you said it was nerve-wracking, it was very. I had that dry mouth. I think as soon, Andy said, as soon as you first get your first touch and everything, it's just another game. So the noise and everything, I think, pales into the back once the game gets going. The beginning was nerve-wracking, but yeah, I think Jam was right. We had so much pressure on us that everyone was expecting. I think it made it a lot worse for us, to be honest.
Ian Black, I mean, what was your thoughts going into it?
Yeah, nerves. I knew it was my last game as well, so just nerves. But I knew as soon as with the squad that we had, that once we started the game, that everyone would just settle in. And I was fairly confident after the game kicked off. But before it, yeah, I was a nervous wreck.
When did Paolo name the team?
Can't remember. Okay.
The day before, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was the day before, was it?
Yeah, before we went down to Glasgow, I think.
Did any of you think you might not have started? Were any of you worried that you weren't going to start the game?
I think we had a fair idea what the starting lineup was going to be from the way the patterns of plays, and obviously body-wise, injury-wise. I think we kind of knew more or less what the starting lineup was going to be. But I think in the build-up of a game, you never take for granted your place, especially in such a big game, because everybody wants to play. And I think there was a few of the lads that actually missed out in the game, which was disappointing for them. But again, I'm just watching the start of the game here. If anything, man, we got off to such a positive start. The majority of the game so far has been played in the Hibs half, and I think that was probably us setting the tempo, and we never really looked back actually off the kickoff. And I think that's probably. I think you asked a question earlier on were we nervous? I think everybody was nervous. You wouldn't be normal if you didn't feel a little bit nervous going into a game like this. But I think one thing I would say is our squad was a lot more, I'd say, experienced than the Hib squad. Like I remember looking when we were coming out in the tunnel, looking around, and there was the likes of obviously Big Zal was there, Andy Webster, like internationals. There was obviously myself. I played internationals, a few experienced players. Blackie, Driver, obviously had a few young lads. Ryan McGowan who came in. Obviously, he's had a baby just now, like, but he came in, and it was a good mixture. And I felt confident. We had Rudy there as well, who'd been on fire all season. And I think nerves, but slight. I think we were a little bit confident, but just not overly confident. I don't know what the lads would say about that.
Danny Grainger, can you remember the pre-match chat from Paolo and from Lockie? I mean, what were they saying before the game?
I think obviously Lockie was, with his connection, very similar to sort of Blackie and Driver and Jammer, who had a big connection with the Hearts fans. He was probably quite nervous, but he was very positive in what he was saying. And there's a few things that I remember, obviously a few things from half time and things like that I always remember. He was always positive about what we were talking about. And I think, as the lads have said there, we were all very nervous to start, but we were all excited to get started because we were all confident. We've all been overconfident that we would beat them and we could beat them and have success against them that day. And I think, obviously, as Sleeve says there, I think we started so well on the front foot and put the pressure right onto them straight away. And I think when you look at the experience we did have through the team, it boded well for us right the way through. And again, I think it was an understanding in everyone because we were so close as a group after what we've been through that season as well.
Andy Webster, you were up against Griffiths and O'Connor, two very good strikers in a Scottish football context. Maybe they weren't at their peak at that time, but were you wary of the threat they might have possessed?
Yeah, I think so. I think having played against them previously on a number of occasions, they're a good combination. They also have a goal threat between the two of them as well. So as a defender, you're always your mindset's always to err on the side of caution. So I was always very confident going into this game. Never kind of said that publicly, but I thought throughout the course of the season we were by far and away a better team than them. It was just a matter of performing on the day. And with the team that we had, I was always confident we'd be able to do that.
I've got a question. How long had all of us been at Hearts at the time of that cup final?
That was my first.
Was that your first season?
Third year.
I think a lot of us had been there a while, right?
Well, that was my second year. I was like Blackie. I knew this was going to be my last game as well. So, in a way, you kind of want to kind of finish. You didn't want your last game to be a defeat in the Scottish Cup final against your arch rival. So, from that point of view, for me personally, I was just desperate to win the game. But I know, Driver, you were there for years. You come up through the system. It must have been huge for you, was it?
Yeah, it was big. No, I was just saying because if you look at their team, it's like I think a few of their boys, it was the first year and things. Yeah, so we've had a lot of experience, eh?
I think that Matt Doherty that was playing in that game, it's his twin brother running around for one.
You've got a good football career, Driver, against him.
How was he to play against that day, Driver?
Easy.
I thought we'd never see him again. Now I'm watching him every week in the Premier League.
To be honest, I seen him a couple of days after the match. He's obviously from Dublin, the same part to me. Now I don't know him, but I kind of, you see somebody from. I was speaking to him after the game, and honestly, I couldn't believe his mindset after the game, which probably bodes for the future of what he's achieved in his career afterwards. Because I remember speaking to him and asking him about the game, and he says, sure, he goes, to be honest with you, he goes, I'm not overly bothered. I'm going back to Wolves and I'm going to get in their first team. And that's ultimately my aim. This was all an experience from me coming up the hips. That was his mindset going into the game. So obviously that helped him, I think, going on in his career because he had a goal at Wolves. But at the same time, if you're going into a cup final, you don't really want your player having that kind of mindset of saying, it's just another game. Whereas for us lads at Hearts, in that dressing room before the game, it was like everything to us. It was like, we do not lose this game. And I think it showed on the pitch on the day.
I think that's what Driver kind of was alluding to as well, saying we'd all played together for the squad overall, had been together, played a lot of games together, and as you say, I think that definitely was a big factor in the game.
Yeah.
Could you detect a weakness in that Hibs team because they maybe didn't have that solid core that you guys had?
The whole 11 starting players.
Sorry?
The whole squad was weak, wasn't it?
To be fair, on the pitch, they didn't seem very, very together on the pitch. Like McPake was playing centre half, and there's a Tom Soares in midfield. He had him on loan from somewhere, and all through the game they were like bickering to each other right from the off, like no having a go at each other. Now it's all fine having a little bit of a go with somebody on the pitch to get an argument, but I felt there was a little bit of nastiness between the two of them, and I always think to myself, surely that's.
How did you get away with that, by the way?
Red.
Get booked, did you?
To be fair, I thought his head was the ball. It looks like it, doesn't it?
Being black elbows, probably.
Didn't even touch the ball.
Nah,
I mean, did you think you were going to get sent off there, Ian?
no chance. No chance.
It's not that early in the game, anyway.
No, you can always get away with one.
What were they saying to you at that point, the Hibs
Look,
players?
man.
Any chance of painting my house?
I honestly can't remember.
There was one with you and Ian Murray earlier that season, wasn't there, where Ian Murray caught you? Similar.
Yeah, and the one that Ian Murray done to me, you get locked up in jail, man, for something like that. Jesus, he took my head off and to go home with him, man.
Were any of you worried at that point that he was going to get sent off?
No.
Nah. I couldn't even remember it.
No. When you look back, you think if that's in the 60th minute, there's an opportunity that being a red card.
It looks worse on the TV as well when you see it at the other angle.
Yeah.
At the time, it looks like it's a fair. It's just a fair challenge. It's a bit hard, but it's not until you see it slow down and things. It's always the same. Always looks worse, doesn't it?
Mm.
Did somebody not pick Griffith's tooth up off the pitch at half time?
Really?
Jamie, have you had a touch in the match yet, Jamie MacDonald?
What's that?
Have you had a touch yet in this match?
I kicked one out the park. Wait for McDonald's just to get us up and settle.
In all seriousness, you must have been expecting a busier afternoon, surely.
I think going back to what I said earlier, as nervous as I was, I think when the game started, I was confident because we had the best of them throughout the season, and I felt we were a much better team. So I did fancy us to win. It's just I think the pressure was probably put on by ourselves and probably Hearts fans because it's a game you don't want to. At that time, obviously, I still had the record of not winning it since 1902 and things like that. So it was all of that with the build-up. But once the game started, I agree with everybody else. I was confident that we were going to win the game.
And then Rudy obviously got the headlines at the end. I mean, could you sense that this was going to be his day? Did he look different? Did he have a wee bit extra about him that day?
I think Rudy done it in every bloody game that season for us, didn't he? To be fair, he's left. Honestly, in and around the box that season, everything he seemed to strike just seemed to go in, didn't it?
I think you need to remember as well when Rudy was first at the club, he beat Henrik Larsson's record for the amount of goals he scored consecutively as well. So Rudy was always a goal threat. And he had an absolute cannon of a left foot shot as well that would beat any goalkeeper. So he was always going to possess that threat.
Do you know what's bizarre? I was looking at Rudy's stats there the other day in his career. It's a bit busy, I know, but he actually scored half his career goals playing for Hearts. And he only played I don't know.
Is it not 1 and 2 for Hearts?
Something like that. I think it might be even a little bit better. But I'm saying anywhere else he struggled to score goals, whereas at Hearts he's just an absolute machine. Which he used to say that playing at Tynecastle gave him superpowers, but I think that was just playing up. But he did. There was something about him when he played, and you just knew he was going to kind of perform on the day. He'd done it all season, so he didn't do much in the games, but he just kind of seemed to drift into them positions. If you watch him there, even in the game, he was always in that little kind of hole there, picking her up, and he's very difficult to mark.
Darren Barr, I mean, what was he like? What sort of teammate was he?
Where is Dazza?
Yeah, where is he? I thought someone was getting him in.
I thought he was coming.
Yeah.
Andrew Driver, what was Darren Barr like?
Can't remember. I'm joking. No, Dad's a sound guy. Not the smartest fella in the world, but great guy. And he deserved it. He's one of those guys who would put all the work in, and you never hear much about it. He'd never get any of the credit or anything.
He only got into the team late on in the season as well, didn't he? When Adrian, what you call him, the guy with the weird second name, Rakovic got injured. He came in, didn't he?
Well, let's just admire Darren's celebration.
Yeah.
Darren was a great teammate.
Yeah.
A great teammate. Always willing to go above and beyond, worked unbelievably hard, sacrificed himself for the team every time.
Yeah.
But I think him playing in that role, Webby, do you not think obviously gave Blackie the license to kind of get on the ball because he'd done so much of the donkey. Well, you'll know as well, Blackie playing in there beside him. He was always in people's faces, wasn't he? And he'd done a lot of the work that you probably go and notice. And even Rudy playing, like with you and Rudy kind of playing in alongside him, he'd done a lot of the dirty work, which left room for you to pick up the ball and kind of do his magic. Well, to echo Webby, man, he was a great guy. Honestly, if anybody deserved to score in that final, it was him, wasn't he? He's just such a. I don't think anybody ever disliked. I don't know anybody that could possibly dislike Barzy, could he?
Oh, great guy.
Even to this day, there's not anybody who's ever say a bad word about him. And you knew week in, week out, he was never anything below like an 8 out of 10. Just gave everyone and worked hard.
So now that goal's gone in, I mean, surely the team's confidence just goes through the roof at this point. You were already confident before, now you've got a 1-goal lead. Danny?
I think that's where our experienced players really stood up there, because I think obviously the likes of Webby and Zal and even Daz, Rudy and Sleeves that had played at the level, I think they kept everything calm. They didn't let us get ahead of ourselves at the time. I know later in the game I can remember Webby and Zal sort of saying, make sure you stay calm, and I think that was the message that we had all the way through the game, and especially after the goals went in. It was a case of settling for that next little period before we kicked on and went again. But I think, again, when you look at the experience we had in the team against them, they didn't really have many people that you just sort of turned to and said, yeah, he's the one that's going to grab hold of the whole team and sort of organise it, where I think we had 3, 4, 5 of them at least.
I think it settled the crowd down as well, the goal, didn't it?
Say again.
I think the goal settled the crowd down as well. Like, they obviously were a little bit nervous, as everybody. When the goal went in, it was a little bit okay, normal kind of. It's resumed, and it was kind of like they could relax and kind of cheer and kind of enjoy it a little bit more, rather than that kind of nervous energy that was there before the game.
Yeah. Zalukis, the captain that year, I mean, what was he like as a character?
Bit of a weirdo, wasn't he?
Sal's a one-off, man.
He's a good guy, Zal, wasn't he?
Great guy, yeah.
He's a great guy. Just a bit different, isn't he?
There wasn't anybody.
Big Sal lived his own life.
Wasn't a great guy. Like, it was a good dressing room, I think, that year. I think obviously with everything that went on off the field.
Yeah.
I think that
we went through a lot.
Because not many squads would have sort of got together the way we did after everything that was carrying on and do what we've done that year, I felt.
Yeah.
How hard was that season in terms of the league campaign and all the stuff that went on off the field? I mean, was it really hard to keep focused and what have you?
I think that the challenging bit would have been the bits in between, whether it was training or matches. All the off-field stuff, once you got on the pitch, it's absolutely fine. It probably galvanises you as a group. When you face adversity, you kind of have to stick together. So as much as a great group of guys anyway, that probably galvanised the group a bit more and spurred us on to do a bit better as well. Because ultimately, the only bit you can really influence is the bit on the park. So for us to be able to do what we did and give back was an amazing feat.
I thought we had fun that year.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, do you not think a lot of the kind of atmosphere around the dressing room was down to enthusiasm or the assistant manager, Cabral?
Did he not just hit free kicks at Jammer? Did he not just hit
He was a character. He just came over for a holiday, didn't he, to Edinburgh?
He was Sergio's mate.
Yeah.
What role did Sergio play in all this? Was he good at keeping you together? Paolo, I mean.
Paolo was good, wasn't he?
Very calm, wasn't he? Very approachable, chilled out guy. which I think probably transferred to the pitch as well, to be honest.
Not in the first couple of months, he wasn't.
Do you not think that everyone had quite a good relationship with Jim, and it was kind of like we felt it was maybe a little bit unjust that he'd lost his job?
Yeah, definitely.
It was
That's true, yeah.
Everybody was good to see Jim Jeffries get sacked at the start of the season because we'd built up a bond. He'd signed us all, and listen, Jim Jeffries is a club legend, but he was a great guy as well, proper old school, kind of like a big teddy bear, wasn't he? Like kind of big. Bloody, you just want to give him a hug, don't you? And when he lost his job, I think everybody was good. And then you see Paolo strolling into the dressing room with his big slick back hair and all. You think, who's this character? But eventually we grew to like. I actually remember one of the 4 sessions when Paolo came in. We were training in the indoor pitch. Remember on the little 7-a-side thing, wherever it was in that pitch, and Paolo, we were doing a 7-a-side, and I think Blackie was running around kicking everybody, and I was looking at Paolo on the side of the pitch, and he didn't know what was going on. He was like, oh, no, and he was like, stop. And then for about 2 months after that, we just done team shape non-stop every day of the week. He cut our Wednesdays off and everything, didn't he?
That was his bold statement at the start, wasn't it? Wednesday, best day to work. Like, oh.
It's the best day for lying in the bed or a hangover. Tuesday.
To be fair, he liked a bevy more than anyone.
Yeah.
Oh. Setting the fire alarms off at half time.
Yeah.
How did you find him, driver? You said he was tough in the first couple of months. Was that from a personal perspective? Because you went.
No, I'm only joking. No, obviously, when he first came, he didn't play me, did he? So I never played for the first few months. So I bumped my gums a bit. And,
you were afraid of him, Andy, weren't you? You were afraid of him, driver.
No chance.
You're in the dressing room saying, I'll tell him this, I'll tell him that. You didn't say anything to him.
And your backside fell out.
Remember, we had I don't know who we were playing at home, and he asked us in front of everybody, and I just wilted and went home. Got sent home with my tail between my legs.
I'm all going home.
Yeah, and then I had to say sorry the next day.
Yes, I remember that.
Oh, it's funny.
Was that a significant change when he came into what you had been used to under Jim?
Massively.
Yeah. And everything.
Training a lot.
The Wednesdays off, the way we trained. I think everything became quite tactical and things like that. So. It was a huge change for us because everything built around the whole week sort of thing, around the tacticals, the shape, and like Sleeve says there, the phases of play that we've done, and it was just that compared to sort of what you're used to. It was a massive change for us all.
To be fair, tactically though, in the big games, he was very good. Like if you look back to the semi-final against Celtic, he got spot on. Obviously, we knew Celtic had better players than us, and we weren't going to see much of the ball, but. First half in that game, he didn't want us. I was playing up front, but he didn't want me going in their half. He just wanted to sit behind the ball and frustrate them. And to be fair to him, at half time, I don't think we got a kick in the game against Celtic. But we came out second half, and he was right. They kind of panicked a little bit, and we started to find a little bit more space. And that was down to his tactics. And I think looking back on that was definitely down to Paolo. We won that game. I know we were on the pitch, but it was very clever by him. And as I said, in the big games, he definitely had his thinking cap on, and it definitely worked.
Did you all warm to him in the end? Although there was maybe that period at the start where you were a bit unsure. Did you all warm to him in the end?
Yeah, we loved him at the end, didn't we? We were all kissing him and hugging him and everything.
I don't think anyone disliked him at the start.
No,
it's just a change, wasn't it? It's just
a change, yeah.
Everybody.
Big John Sutton didn't like him, did he?
Yeah, I remember me and Big Suts. Remember we went taught them away.
Yeah.
And they put me and Suts in the stand. I'm playing the game. First game and that. I'm in the stand, Suts and that, and I'm like arguing with Claire in the hospitality bit, saying I'm getting pissed tonight, mate. Like, no, you're not. Like, I was like, nah, he's brought me all the way to London to sit in a stand. I said, no, I'm not having that shit, man. He took his job off his arse and that. I hated the.
I'm glad this isn't for kids, Blackie.
Me, him, and Zara were big smoking buddies, man.
I used to love Zal in the morning. You get in from training and you'd see his car and there'd just be smoke piling up it, and he'd be sat with the door open, tabbing.
I mean, what was Zaliukas like? Because obviously he came in when all the Lithuanian guys came. Andrew Driver will remember this. When all the Lithuanian guys came in at the start, there was a wee bit of sort of scepticism about them all coming in. Zaliukas lasted much longer than everybody else, didn't he? He was one of the longest, well, the longest serving foreign player to play for Hearts.
Yeah, he was. It's quite funny. Those Lithuanian guys got a lot of stick, I think, but they were all decent guys. Even Mikko, in his time as well, was a good guy. And I think Zaldo was the one who settled the most of Scottish football, and I think he was a good player.
He had a ruthless side from on the pitch. There's no doubt about that as well. I know he was really nice, and he wouldn't have been a hard man off the pitch, but on the pitch he was quite solid, and he knew his role, and it was like at the back I would say we had two skippers in obviously Webby and Zal. Like either one of them could have worn the armband and more of it, and you would have known there was two leaders there. That's one thing again in the game that helped us. Like I looked at their captain McPake now. For me, he wasn't a captain on that day. He just wanted the slag players off in his team. Like somebody make a mistake, and I could hear him. Obviously, I was next to me. He'd be like, "What's he doing? He's shit. What's he doing?" Like no stuff like that. And I'm thinking, you can't be speaking when you're in a couple. Whether everybody makes mistakes, but I just didn't think he went about being a captain on that day very well. And as I said, that told me there was no kind of togetherness in that squad.
I think the second goal's not far away here. I mean, did you feel it was coming? Can you remember what the vibe was at that time?
I think it was we were very dominant without really creating much, but we had a lot of territory, and I thought we dictated the game a lot more whenever it came out. I said this the other day. I was talking to someone doing a podcast, and I said that I felt whenever the game broke out, we knew that they had O'Connor and Griffiths was their only real threat. And it shows even just there on that clip there that when the ball popped out to one of them, Webby or Zal or Daz sort of won the ball back quite sharpish, and we kept the pressure on. I think with that, I think it was just a matter of time before chances and things like that came along.
We reacted to second balls much quicker than them as well, watching the game. No little balls bouncing around. We were forced to them. There was always maroon short to the ball. There was a kind of 60-40 ball. We were winning them even against us, and I think that was just, look at, there we go again, forced to the ball. You watched there, I think it was Zal stepping in ahead of O'Connor. I think that happened all over the pitch. Darren Barr as well was brilliant in midfield. No bouncing balls, no coming like kind of backing in, causing the defender not to head it clear. Barsey was always winning the second ball, and then the ball would end up at Blackie's feet, and he was able to kind of get his passing range going. No, I think after the second goal in, that's when I felt really comfortable in the game, to be honest. I don't know about you guys.
I was until half time, and then you're like 2-0 or 2-1 at half time. You're shitting yourself a bit, aren't you?
We don't have a chance just before they scored as well, and it got cleared off the line. It would have
do so good.
It was like I felt we're cruising, and as you say, like we lost that kind of late goal in the first half, and then all of a sudden you're thinking the game's turned after being so dominant.
It's a great pass by Blackie there at the Rudy. Yeah. Brilliant.
Only he would think of shooting there as well, by the way.
He's nobody else is thinking that. He's not given right to get a shot off, but that's the confidence and ability.
Yeah, well, I think that came from all season, wasn't it? Webby just scored from that range.
Yep.
And then he hit it. Goal seemed to go in.
Yeah. But again, it's Blackie's composure there. Like we were forced to the ball, and the ball breaks out to Blackie, and he just has that little bit of know-how. Look at, doesn't panic, little fright, feeds it into Rudy. Like that's quality football as well. You can say forced every ball, but we showed quality on the day as well, and that's for me that was a great goal.
It's a great first touch from Rudy as well out his feet. I know it takes a slight deflection, but his first touch is excellent.
Ian, did you have a bond with Rudy on the pitch? Did you feel like you had a link up with him?
Yeah, I had a bond with, like the boys said there, the squad that we had. I had a bond. I felt as if I had a bond with everybody, especially that group. And Rudy just seemed to always get into the areas where you want to find players anyway. So it wouldn't have mattered if it was Rudy or Sleeves or anybody, Driver. You just knew they would be in an area where they wanted to be, where I wanted to find them. So that whole squad just gelled and everybody worked well together.
I mean, that's a brilliant performance you said that day, and on your day you had some really good performances, but you finished 5th in the league. Was that mostly to do with off-field troubles?
You have to bring the negatives in, don't you?
100%.
No comment.
I think it got to a stage though. I think the longer the cup run went on, you kind of start becoming a little bit more aware of the cup run. Then, like at the start, you're thinking, you know what, could be our year. Then we win a game, you go through, and then all of a sudden you think, you know what, we might do it. Then we get Celtic in the semi-final, and you think it's going to be tough. And then I don't know. I think it was always in the back of our head that the cup run was kind of possibly affected us in the league in the position.
Was Arnold sharing a room with you in the semi-final?
Yeah, it was. I think it was before the final, wasn't it? Oh, was it? He played before the final.
Remember the semi-final?
Was it not the final? No.
Remember the Marriott semi-final was a Marriott, was it not?
No, I don't even remember, man. Jesus. I know we couldn't sleep and we were panicking about something, saying that we lose. Oh, it was definitely the final, wasn't it?
Was it the final?
Yeah, you were hanging out the window smoking cigarettes. I was like, well, you fucker put this cigarette out, man. The smell of it.
Oh, yeah, that was a. Yeah, no more said about that.
That's why we finished 5th. Half the team was smoking, man.
Blew up after 60 minutes.
There was 2 players in that squad who played every single minute of the cup run. Can any of you guys name them?
Rama.
Webber.
Dal.
Webster was one.
Sal Lucas. Jamie.
James MacDonald.
Well done, boys.
Well done.
Tell you what, we were lucky at times in that run as well, right?
Well, we did it the hard way, didn't we?
The St. Johnson game was the
St. Johnson.
Bloody hell.
Auchinleck at home, man.
I think me and Blackie ended up playing centre half that game. Remember at the end?
Yeah.
Was it
horrible, man.
Gog Smith scored.
Yeah.
Gogs, yeah. Was it not?
I know.
You got a goal disallowed, didn't you? It wasn't offside.
Like the Auchinleck, Jama, did the Auchinleck come in on trial after that?
Aye, big boy Andy Leishman. Aye, he came in for a week.
He did, didn't he?
Had the world day that day as well, didn't he?
Trial because he had the game I'm just going to the toilet, man.
That St Johnson away game, I mean, you were close to going out that night, weren't you, in the replay?
Yeah. Did we on penalties?
Extra time.
Extra time.
Was it
Was that the penalty? Who scored in the St Johnson?
Did Hamill somebody miss a penalty? Hamill, was it?
That when Hamill started going mental and kicking the advertising board.
Yeah. He had a kiss quiet moment, didn't he?
Hamill scored the penalty in injury time, and then I think Zalukas maybe scored the winner.
Scored the winner, that's right.
Zal did score.
Who's that? Doing top corner. Big Zal. Sure it was.
Yeah.
And then we had St Mirren away when we were shite.
Yeah, but I was saying, the replay was it no? Did we not draw 2 each?
Yeah, that was a replay playing that game.
Replay again as well.
Yeah.
That's why we finished 5th. We had too many games in the cup.
Gauss had done well when he came in at right back, to be fair, as a young kid playing regularly from not playing regularly. If you look back at the game, didn't he just fit it in nicely?
How big and gangly his legs are, man.
I know.
You speak about guys who missed out. Hamill and Templeton were the 2 that you would probably look at and say they were, well, obviously Hamill was injured and Templeton probably would have been entitled to feel hard done by, wouldn't he?
It was a tough conversation as well. I think Paulo had to have with them, and you can see the disappointment.
Did he bomb him out for Perichenko, Dennis, in case we got a free in the last 10?
We got a free kick in the semi, remember that one?
Bloody hell.
If we got a free kick in him, but he was going to take it. Remember Dennis used to sleep with his leg up against the wall so he could open up his medial ligament?
And then he did his medial. He overstretched it.
Yes.
He used to just go into that gym and kick free kicks for about 4 hours, didn't he?
Oh. I think he scored one in the youth team game. Yeah. That was him.
That's all I remember about him. He could score a free kick, but I never actually seen him score one.
Yeah.
I think he's doing all right for himself now. He's playing for a team in Belgium. He plays with a guy I used to play with, and he's big centre half now, killing people.
Arvidas is doing quite well, isn't he?
Yeah, he had ability, didn't he? Harvey, he was class, just young, wasn't he? No,
At that point, were the likes of Jamie Walker and Jason Holt knocking on the door, or were they sort of out on the fringes at that time?
Probably wasn't until the season after that they boys were a bit more involved.
I think they were in the youth team, were they?
Callum Patterson as well, probably, year after.
Yeah, because they all started playing when they played Liverpool. Callum Patterson played, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So that's when they started playing, I think.
You're 2-0 up now. You must think you're in a really good position and maybe looking to go and get another one at the minute.
Ian's still at the toilet.
Yes. Anybody else? Andrew Driver?
Yeah, I think we're still in control, though. If you look at it, most of the positive plays still from us. I think most of it's in their half of the pitch. How long have we gone right now? 34 minutes. So the game's proper settled down now, hasn't it, as well? But like you see there, we're winning the headers still. So I think we're comfortable the whole time. I think their goal came a little bit out of nowhere. That was me winning a good 50-50 there. You see that?
Do you feel you guys are playing well at the minute, or is it just Hibs haven't turned up?
I think it's a bit of both, isn't it? Because obviously we start the tempo. Sometimes when you're playing in a game and the team starts off at a high tempo, it's hard to get your game going. I think we just should have scored here, really, nearly scored.
Yeah.
We battered them really looking at the game, didn't we?
Yeah. Watch Driver, look. Oh.
Look at the pace, Driver.
Great ball,
no wonder I had to retire. As soon as that pace went, I went.
I got a nice elbow across the head there. Bloody hell.
Was that one of your best games for Hearts, Andrew? Driver?
Probably, yeah. I think it probably was, yeah.
Definitely that season.
For sure, yeah. I think it was good. Obviously, I was at Hearts for quite a while. And if we'd have left without winning anything, it was nice to know that we had a good game. I had a good game that day, and we got something out of all the work we'd put in. So, yeah, I think a lot for me that was definitely the best game I'd have, especially that year. Anyway.
Did you know early on in the game that you had Doherty?
I don't know. I think a lot of my game was if I was fit, I was going to play well. And I think getting out of the team at the start of the year, it was like a warning lesson, and I ended up working my bollocks off before this final. And I think it's probably the best shape I'd been in a long time. And I think you can see there when I ran past him, I was in good shape at that time. It makes the game a little bit easier when you're in that shape.
The thing is, we had legs on both sides. Obviously, you and Suso could run really, like, you know what I mean? Both of you could run well, and you knew that if you opened up, you weren't going to catch either of you, really, already the fullbacks.
Yeah. I think the game suited us, and especially my play. It was a kind of game that I was going to do well. They weren't sitting in or anything. There was big, wide open spaces and things like that for me and Suso as well. It's one of those games you just enjoyed, you know.
What was Suso like?
He's a good lad, Suso, isn't he?
He's a man. Crazy. I wouldn't want to get on the wrong side of him.
Angry wee man, wasn't he?
He's some ability, though, isn't he? Skillful, like.
Oh,
yeah.
He used to love it where you get the ball in the studs and just roll it through people's legs.
Do you remember that day when him and Paolo were having an argument on the side of the pitch, and Suso started screaming at him like in Portuguese or whatever, like swearing at him, or in Spanish, and he didn't realise Paolo was understanding what he was saying, like, because he could understand Spanish, and Paolo like nearly strangled him because he actually he was calling him a mother or whatever the hell he was calling him in Spanish, but Paolo obviously knew what he was saying, and Paolo was going to kill him. He used to just get angry and start cursing to himself, didn't he? He was like having a little fit, and he used to just leave him be, wasn't it?
How did we even find Suso, by the way?
I think Shabba brought him in.
Yeah, how did he end up? Like, he was at Tenerife for his whole career and then just 2 years in Edinburgh. I think he ever woke up wondering, what am I doing here? Never spoke any English. Just turned up at training and went home every day.
Yeah.
He didn't say much, did he?
No, never. A great guy. I thought he was quite funny, actually.
Who was the other Spaniard we had? What was his name again?
Palazuelos.
Palazuelos. He was a nice lad, wasn't he?
The overgrown rabbit.
Yeah.
Winkies, mate.
Ian, I mean, how was this your best performance, perhaps?
Yeah, no, 100%. Probably even to the day, the best performance I've ever had in my career when I was playing. I just enjoyed it. As soon as the kickoff went and started to relax, I just enjoyed the whole game. Getting on the ball and just playing.
It's mad up. Like I'm watching the game here, right? And obviously, how long's gone in the game? I don't know, 40 minutes or so, was it?
Hibs goal must be coming up.
But like, surely at some stage, I know obviously it's down to the match. Surely at some stage, as a player on the pitch, you got to realise we need to get close to him. Every time you got the ball, there wasn't a Hibs player within 5 yards of you. It was bizarre. Like, if that was against us, like, if you're a midfield player and somebody's like, you're going to try and get close to him, but they gave you the freedom of the park, and obviously you punished them then, didn't it? It was unbelievable looking back.
It's strange because I never got that freedom in the normal like derbies.
Might have been because of the bigger pitch as well. Just there you are again. Look at not a player near you.
I felt like that the whole day, though. Even when I've watched the game back, that you just never felt like you were never like under pressure when you had the ball. You were able to take 2 or 3 touches every time you had the ball all over the pitch.
They were nervous though. When they had the ball, they looked nervous and jittery, didn't they?
Yeah.
I thought we were miles better. I thought we were a better organised team, and they were a team of individuals at the time. I felt they were hoping that the likes of Griffiths and O'Connor would turn up and have a good game, whereas we sort of looked all the way around the squad, and you had a lot of good players that could affect the game in different ways. If Driver and Suso had an off day, you'd have Sleeves and Rudy who could sort of run the show. You've got Blackie and Daz who could dictate it. And I felt all season we were a strength at set pieces as well, with the likes of Webby, Allen, Daz and Gowser. And when you've got that, I feel that you've always got an opportunity no matter what happens, however you play. But I just felt that you're just reliant on O'Connor and Griffiths all day.
Here's the goal, I think, is it, for Hibs?
Yeah.
One jammer, man. One thing.
I know, one job.
That's how it felt like at the time, though, because at the end of the day, I was a spectator, obviously the whole game, but the first half was so dominant, and that goes in, you know. It was
a bit of an off-fuck moment, wasn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Especially so near the half-time, and we're cruising. And you think the game's going to be a lot closer than what obviously it turned out. We ended up cruising it anyway, but going into half time, you've probably went for total control to go and we're only 1 up at this point after being so dominant.
Yeah,
you can
imagine
done well
O'Connor getting across you there, to be fair, for the goal. Just got a little nick on it, did he?
Yeah. But you can imagine as well them going in at half time saying we've never been in it and we're only a goal behind. So things could only have, they would have thought hopefully improve for them. But
even then after they score, we're still in possession. It's just, I don't know, man. They were crap, weren't they?
There's Ivan Sproul as well. I haven't seen him the whole game.
Did he start?
No, he was playing. No, he just came on, didn't he? He came on. He took the boy. Was it Claros off?
The number 8.
Oh yeah.
That wee Honduran boy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was he just not in the game at all, Blackie?
No, I didn't even know he was playing.
Who's that, Claros?
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, was he meant to be playing in midfield up against you, Blackie?
Yeah.
He was in the one now. Him and Osborne.
Yeah.
I think he was just admiring you painting passes all over the pitch.
Yeah. Just what?
Good use of words, Sleeves. Unintended.
I mean, at this point, you're just trying to make sure they don't get the equaliser before half time.
Yeah, you want to get in a half time here, don't you?
Hearts fans are a wee bit shocked, aren't they? You can see them jumping about, Hibs fans.
Not for long.
Yeah, they'll be on a high horse getting a wee goal and thinking they're going to get close to it. But no, we obviously us to get in at half time at 2-1, we're quite delighted.
You'd have taken that at the start of the game, 2-1.
Yeah, obviously, if you're saying you're going to be winning at half time, you're obviously going to take it. But I think the way the half went, we were a little bit disappointed to concede a goal.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with Rudy at all?
I speak to him now and again, but not much.
Yeah,
Where is he, Sleeves?
Huh?
Where is
I
he?
didn't check the last time I spoke to him.
I thought he
He's
was
had
moving
he's
to
had
LA.
twins, hasn't he?
Did they not move to
Soccer school.
LA or something?
He's in
Yeah, I
America
thought he was
for a
going to
bit.
LA.
One last time I spoke
Yeah, but I
to
think he went back to Czech, and then I don't know where he is now. But I know he's had twins, hasn't he?
Yeah.
yeah, he's had twins.
Yeah.
Sure, he's in California. I'm sure he said last time I spoke to him, he's in California.
Yeah, I'm sure he's over there as well now.
Have you had any
No, they
kind of
like a-
reunion since that game at all?
No.
He getting slapped about by
I know,
Griffiths,
Blackie, who's the wee guy shoving you over?
He's a wee man.
Who was that? He's trying to get me back, innit?
Was that retaliation for what happened earlier? Can you remember?
I think so, aye. But he was just honestly an angry little man, wasn't he? With no hair.
You know him? You're from that part of the same neck of the woods, aren't you? Down East Lothian way.
Aye, he's not for East Lothian, man.
He's the Leaf, isn't he?
Did they not?
He's no, I'm sure he's not like a Nidra boy or something like that. He's not for my neck. He was renting a house down my neck of the woods because he had.
Aye, that's what I
I'm
meant.
sure what it. Aye, but he's not there now. We got rid of him. He's back. He's still in Glasgow, man.
How long have we got till half time? What, 1 minute till half time? Can you remember the half time team talk from Paolo? I mean, what was he saying at this point?
He was quite calm, I think, wasn't he?
There's only two little bits that I remember, and it was that Lockie going on about how much better than them we were all game, and even all the way through the season. Lockie just kept saying it. These are the better team, and then just literally as we were about to walk out, I remember Webby just saying, "Stay calm, first 5 minutes," and then that's the only bit I can remember from half time. I can't remember what Paolo said at half time, or how long he was in for, because normally he didn't come in for very long, did he? He normally went away with the staff for quite a while, and again, I think that's what helped us with having an experienced team, is that the experienced boys kind of calmed the inexperienced.
Yeah, I don't remember any big speech or anything.
No.
I
He
think
just
it was
said to stay calm and that we were playing well.
Yeah.
It was, but as I remember as well, the changing room was pretty calm as well. There was no shouting or anything. It was just like, carry on doing what we're doing, right?
So 3, 2, 1, go. So the goal should be about 30 seconds, a minute away. I mean, Suso seemed to have the better of Kujabi all day. Did you see Kujabi as a weak link in the Hibs team?
I think with that, you probably look at your own strengths. And we definitely had strength in the wider area. Seeing the first half driver doing really well, and the same with Suso as well. I think regardless of who the fullbacks are, you would back the boys and their talent in the wider areas to beat their fullback, and that obviously showed in the third, or the leading up to the penalty. So his ability was excellent, and also he had a good turn of pace as well. So no, you're always confident in your teammates, and especially when Suso picks the ball up. That was his strength, running with the ball.
He was quicker than he looked, though, wasn't he, Suso? Once he
and he
got
was
going,
strong.
like...
He was strong as well. He could hold people off.
You couldn't get him off.
What an assist by me there as well, to be fair.
Thanks for turning up, Jammer.
Is it a penalty? Do you think it should have been a penalty? Or
No.
Free kick. I think it's a sending off, but it's not a penalty.
Nice lucky.
Danny, this is your moment. I mean, did you know straight away you were taking the penalty, or was there ever any debate about who was taking it?
Can we talk about this?
Yeah.
How did he end up with penalties?
Because Paolo said in the morning at breakfast.
Oh.
Breakfast together.
Just before you left his room after the night.
Did we not practice penalties and we just kept missing everybody else and Danny just scored?
Missing apart from me.
I think I missed the last one before you, Danny, didn't I? Easter Road.
A few of the boys, you missed one against Hibs. Was it that season you missed one against Hibs?
Yeah, that one there, yeah.
There's the goal gone in. What's your emotions at that time, Danny?
Obviously relief, because obviously there's always pressure when you take a penalty, but I think it just, again, after sending off, I think it really puts us back in the driving seat. Sending off 3-1. They probably thought they were going to have a little bit of momentum outside the second half and things like that. So, no, I think obviously it was a big relief to see it hit the back of the net, but obviously it was big for me because I had quite a lot of final heartache leading up to this with Gretna and Dundee United. So to be able to play the cup final and things like that, it was obviously massive for me. And then I'd lost my granddad previous to the Celtic game, and as you can see there on the shirt, I sort of dedicated the goal to him. So it was big for me as well.
I mean, on a personal level, is your head a bit muddled after you've scored in a cup final? Is it hard to refocus again that few minutes after it?
Again, I keep saying it about the experience. I think we had the experience with the likes of Sleeves and Webby, Daz, Zal, and again, I think it was a case. And after every goal, it was a case of settling us down. I think if after most of the goals, we'd probably go and have quite a spell of possession and control the game again and get a hold of the game again before we sort of really go and start attacking. And I think that shows again after this one that we sort of go and control the game and build back into it. But I think with the whole game, I think then it was a case of damage limitation for them.
I think the penalty after the penalty went in, that's when I felt, that's when we start properly enjoying as a team. I think we all, you never get overly confident, but I think you had a feeling there that was it now. Just
Two goal lead again. They're down to 10 men, and then you've got a corner again coming up. I mean, we're not even an hour into the game. You must feel like what's going on here. This has gone far smoother than we expected, presumably.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Once
what a finish!
3-1 up, and then Gowser's goal.
Can't believe you took nothing like this.
Should you have had a touch on that, Stephen?
I got a little touch on it, to be fair, but listen, you see the ball hit the net, you don't care at this stage, man. You're in like daydream land, aren't you? 4-1 up, but like at this stage of the game, it's just relaxed party time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Playing up front, was there an urge? Now you're 4-1 up. Are you looking for a goal yourself now?
Yeah, to be fair, you always want to score. I didn't score many that season, but I was one of them 4-1 up. I think we did. If you watched the game, I've watched it back there a few weeks ago. It was actually on the telly on the BBC Scotland, and we actually just kept the ball at the back for about 25 minutes in the game. We didn't even look forward, and that was actually a bit annoying on the pitch because now when you're up front, you're making movements all across, and Webby and Zab were just playing keeping the ball between themselves for about 20 minutes.
The Hearts fans think it should have been 10. Lee Griffiths last week in an interview said you could have had 10 if you wanted. Was there any reason that you didn't go for the jugular that day, or were you just trying to see it out and just keep the ball?
Everyone talks as if it's easy to score a goal. It could have been 10, but I don't think it's as easy as that. You're winning 4-1 when all we're thinking about is what we're doing after the game now at this point.
Yeah.
And
You
you?
still have to be professional about it, though, don't you?
He still has to do your job. I think I know when it goes 5-1, it's highly likely, but all it takes if me Gals are pushing on and the Webby or Zal slip and they get sent off and then they get a goal, it's 5-2, and it's never going to happen in coming back. But I think we done a professional job there. I think we seen the game out well, and again, I think the longer the game went on, it became very comfortable, and they were quite happy to lose 5-1.
To be fair, like, looking at them, it's embarrassing by them. Like, they're 4-1 down, and not one player is trying to even break their arse and make a tackle. It's like
no one's trying to kick anyone, is there? You know what I mean?
No.
There was no one that, like I said there's no one that would like grab the game or grab a teammate and have a go at them.
But that's what I mean. That's what I thought about the whole togetherness as a squad, which is like they did not have like at this stage. Your man McPake and Tom Sawers were going at it like hell for leather. They were like screaming at each other, and I was like winding McPake up, saying, "Oh, have you heard what he said about you there?" Like kind of just trying to see what he'd say. And the two of them are just like, honestly, going back, I just couldn't believe, because they would have been two experienced players in that Hibs team, and I don't know, I was just thinking we're flying here because they had nothing about them. We were all. Every single one of them our players in that team would have kind of ran through a brick wall for each other in that game, and I think it showed on the day.
Could you imagine Webby if we were getting beat 4-1 by Hibs? He would have murdered us, man.
Oh, mate.
I don't think
is that Woody? Hello.
Rudy's made it.
What? Has he got an American accent, driver?
He doesn't talk, does he? 2.5 and he doesn't say anything. He says dinosaur sometimes. No, but yeah, but to the point, Webby would have murdered us.
Yeah.
I think there'd been a few, wouldn't there?
Yeah. I don't think we'd let it. Wouldn't get very much in hundreds. And I think that shows after their goal. A lot of teams would have.
And not in a bad way either. Like, you dig somebody out, I think, most boys, but it was always in a fairly constructive way, you know what I mean? It wasn't doing it for the sake of...
No, it was just keep the standards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we wouldn't have like buckled. None of the boys would have took offence to it or that. We would have just took it and just, got on with it.
I mean, Ian, this would have been a stage in the game where you would have just been getting all the time in the world on the ball, pinging it about, doing what you wanted. Do you remember just enjoying that last sort of half hour? Like...
No, I enjoyed it, but like Steve said before, like I seemed to like have got myself space for the kick-off to the end of the game until I come off anyway. It just, the game just seemed to be so stretched that we had so much of the ball that I think for the first minute of the kick-off, I enjoyed the whole game.
We've got a little quiz here. Just let me get it up just now. There were 6 players who only made one appearance during the run, either by starting or by coming on as a sub. Can you name them?
Prochenko.
Fraser Mulligan.
Dennis Prochenko,
yeah.
Gogsy.
Who?
Gordon Smith.
Gordon Smith, that's 3.
Lee Pum.
Yeah,
he didn't play. He must have played more than one.
He came on in the final, didn't he?
He must have played more than one.
What a ball.
Roviek?
Nope. He may have played, but not one that played just one. It was a young boy.
Random. Jamie Hamill, did he get injured before the cup run?
He got
He
injured.
got injured before the semi, was it? No, mind in we were in indoor ash.
Indoor, yeah.
That was horrible.
Not David Abua.
David Abua, yeah. He played against St Johnstone. You'd never have thought he was there in that. I mean, what was he like?
Was he still there when we won the cup?
I don't know if he was still there, but he played a part in the run.
He was the softest 6'3" guy I ever met in my life.
Yeah.
He was soft as shit, wasn't he?
He had a different mindset.
He scored the header when Jim was still the manager, and he scored in the 1-1 draw.
1-1 first game of the season.
Yeah, that would have been one of your first games, was it, Danny?
Yeah, that was my debut, that one, because Lee Wallace had just gone to Rangers.
that all right, Brox, was it?
Yeah.
So who's the other three then?
Yeah, 2 more to go.
So who have we got so far?
Egget
We've
Johnson.
got Fraser Mullen,
Boo.
David Abua, Pritchenenko and Gordon Smith. There's 1 young Scottish boy and 1 foreign boy.
Morrowick.
Nah, he must have played more than 1.
Fucking hell.
Harvey, he was 1. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what game he played, but he's down on the list as playing 1. The
Did
other
Arthur
one,
not play the Dundee?
never get. He played against Auchinleck. He came on, I think.
Holty.
Nah.
Walker.
Patterson.
Gordon Morton.
Oh, Dan Martin.
Never got that.
We never noticed it.
Who was he?
Left back.
Came on against Auchinleck.
He wasn't a left back. He was a left mid, wasn't he? Or striker.
Yeah.
No, he was a left back. What are you doing?
That name doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah, he was a riot, wasn't he?
He liked a bottle of Bucky, like.
Yeah.
Remember Rob, the physio?
He's at Aston Villa now.
Yep.
Oh, there.
Uh-huh.
Did you see the video of him rubbing John Terry last year?
I said, do it.
Pardon?
Oh, did you?
Craig Beattie obviously came in that season, had quite a big impact. I mean, what was he like as a player, as a striker for Hearts when he came in?
He's a good player. He
Good lad.
knows the build. He just couldn't stay fit, could he?
No. He had some impact in some of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was it? Did he score against St Mirren in one of the cup games?
Yeah.
He scored a great header, I think. Was it a header he scored at Tynecastle in one of the games? Was it him?
He scored a great goal against Hibs earlier in the season, didn't he? Where he took it
Oh
over
yeah,
his
when he took his first touch, wasn't it?
Legs.
back, he
The thing
cleared
is, though,
ball.
on the final, Beats came on in this final. There's no way he was fit
Yeah.
to come on. Like I think that was scandalous by him to tell you that he was fit, and one of the lads missing out on an appearance. You know what I mean? Because imagine the game had it been close, and he's coming on, and he's not even fully fit.
Did he not come on? Did he not come on the middle of the pitch?
Yeah.
Where he came on, but he
Thing
couldn't.
is-
He didn't move from the middle of the pitch.
Move to the middle of the pitch.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a big sort of narrative around this Beattie going to be fit. He was seen as a guy that was maybe going to. I mean, was he never going to have any chance from your guys' perspective?
No, he's never starting the game. To be fair,
Never. No.
the thing is, you watch him. He never trained. Like he was always like kind of. He was always kind of making match day squads by the skin of his teeth type of thing, but he was never fully fit. I don't think he, as I said, I think Paolo asked him before the game. I remember speaking to him, and he was like, "I'm not fully fit, but I'm just going to give it a go." But when he came on, he was done in after a couple of minutes. I remember thinking, like, Jesus, that's not ideal. Like, I know the game we were 4 or 5 and up when he came on, but like I said, if it had been a close game and you turned the Beats and he comes on and he pulls up after a couple of minutes, I think that would have been really poor. Now I'm looking obviously a little bit deep into it, but I just think that was from somebody so experienced by him. I know it's a cup final, everyone wants to play, but I don't know whether I would have done that myself personally.
I think he suffered terribly with injuries in the early part of his career. It was hamstrings and stuff, and he could tell he never fully got over it. He would never sprint. He would never. His running style was slightly different than probably what it would have been as well. So it hindered him. But when he did come on, he had very good, very good, strong as well, really strong.
Strong, yeah. Remember him training on like Tuesdays? He literally could not move.
No.
That
was like me for
The Tin Man.
You'd get full body rubs on that little table. Remember in the middle of the room, we'd be just getting rubbed for about
Lying
2
in the bath.
hours. You think, bloody hell, does anybody else get a shot?
Would he have been on penalties if he had played, Danny?
I honestly don't know. I think obviously, as I'd said earlier, we've done quite a few penalties leading up to the cup final, obviously in case. But I was obviously quite confident taking them. But I think obviously that normally our penalty take would have been Hamill. Hamill took our penalties normally, and obviously he'd done his cruciate leading up to I think it was the semi-final. So he would have probably taken the penalty in the semi-final and the final had he played. So I think obviously it was one that Paolo, he only made the decision on the morning of the game. in the team meeting that he said that I would have taken penalties. So it wasn't till then.
Could you bet? Could you?
What's the next question?
What would have been better than watching the match would have been the footage of after the match. After the match. It's a grainy video in the hotel room.
You mentioned Hamill there. I mean, how gutted were you for him missing out? Because obviously he was a key part of the squad that season, wasn't he?
What a great guy.
Yeah. It was horrible.
It was good.
When it actually happened. Because it was literally the day before the semi-final?
Yeah, I think it was close, wasn't it?
Was it not? Was it not leading up to that week leading up to it? 'Cause I remember, I don't think everybody trained in the indoor. I think it was maybe the boys who hadn't been.
You were sitting on the outside.
Yeah, right. It didn't sound good. Never mind.
Oh, it was horrible.
Oh, you could hear it a mile off, couldn't you?
I always remember, and it was just horrible and just gutted for him as well. You see, he was a big part of the team at that point.
Gausa was buzzing though, wasn't he?
Quite a settled back four through the season. When with myself, Webby, Allen, Hamill, and then obviously Gausa coming in as well.
That's one of your better passes there, Dan.
Yeah. In doubt, pal. Let's go from there.
I mean, this game's just going to drift. We've got one more goal still to come. I mean, this game's going to drift out quite easily, but the semi-final was a completely different type of game. What are your memories of that? I mean, that was an incredible victory, wasn't it? Ian?
Sorry, say that again. I was just trying to say
the semi-final against Celtic, what are your memories of that?
Not a lot, really. Just nerves, because obviously they were a big squad. Good group, and no, I was just nervous, really. But once, I don't know when I come off. I think I come off when we were winning, to be fair.
Yeah, he did. You're right, because I remember he made a couple of changes late on in the game, and when we were 1-0 up, to kind of waste a bit of time, because I think he took you off, and then he took me off, and we 1-0 up, and then Hooper scored a header or something, didn't he?
Yeah, and went back 1-1.
Yeah, and you're taking extra time, and then obviously we went back up and got the penalty, and I don't know what was the penalty given for, a handball or a free kick? I still don't know.
Handball, wasn't it? The handball.
The handball. Obviously,
when I thought when it went 1-1, I thought that was it, game over.
Yeah, I was taking extra time, and we've
Jammer, did you not make a save in that semi? Like a point blank save or something?
Near the end, Chris Collins.
Fuck knows. I know I never made a save in this game anyway.
Can we watch the semi-final for Jammer's benefit? There you go.
But see, this is the most surreal half of my life, because the atmosphere at the beginning game was the best I've experienced, probably. The second half, see, being down at that,
you were on your own.
There was nobody there. It was all you heard, and especially the way Hampden set out as well. It's not exactly the best all the time, so all you hear was the noise at the far end, and absolutely fuck all. You turn into the stand, and there's about 1,000 folk. There was fair play at the ones that stayed, but at this point of the game, there's nobody in the stand at that end.
Once that fourth goal went in, they started clearing the place.
It must have been. It must be horrible though if you're a fan and you're in a cup final against your local. You're 4-1 down. There's still half an hour in the game. You know what I mean? Like from their point of view.
Were you aware that the Hibs fan? I mean, obviously Jamie was, but were the rest of you guys?
Yeah, you could tell. You could tell they were all gone.
I think once we'd scored the fourth goal, you're kind of going back to set up for the restart of the game. You're walking back towards Jammer, and you can just see there's absolutely nobody there, and they're all walking out.
Yeah.
I think that goes back to a bit, you're saying it could have been 10-1, but the atmosphere just got sucked out of the place, didn't it, on their side, so there was just no game anymore.
It was like we were waiting for it to end, wasn't it?
There.
Yeah.
The last you it's just waiting for the final whistle just so you can lift it up, isn't it? You almost stop enjoying it to a degree because you just want to go and lift the cup and go and party.
Yeah.
Danny, I mean, where does this rank in your career as highlights? Was this 3-1 or?
Yeah, this was massive for me. I think obviously, I think as well. I think it was because we had such a good group, and I think obviously it was a case of like Jammer and the boys are saying there that you're getting towards, especially now, you want to lift the cup and you want to enjoy it with the lads and the families and things like that because everyone was so close. But yeah, I mean, this is an achievement for me personally. Is definitely up there because, like I said earlier, I had quite a bit of heartache in the Gretna Cup final and the Dundee United one as well, and then. So yeah, I mean, to be able to win a cup and play in a derby, things like that was massive. So yeah, it's a massive achievement to be able to do it. And as I've said there, the group of lads as well was a good group, and that made it even better as well.
And so you obviously captained Dundee United a couple of years previous in the Scottish Cup final. How do they compare? I mean, are they two moments you just cherish in equal measure, if you like? Or?
Yeah, I think so. I think both are slightly different, but both are unique. I think this game was probably the biggest Scottish Cup final there had been. You know, the history that went with Hibs having never won it and everything that goes with it, and being an Edinburgh derby as well. This game will live forever in people's memories. So for us to be a small part and be able to contribute to this, then nobody will forget this. So generation after generation will still remember this game of football. And probably Dundee United slightly similar as well in the fact that even having a really successful football team, they've only ever won the Scottish Cup twice as well. So both of them are quite unique in themselves. So for me personally, this is probably the one that everybody will always remember. And so for us to be part of that history is great.
What's your reflections on it, Stephen? Obviously, a guy who'd come over from Ireland, played for a couple of big clubs in England. I mean, where does this rank for you?
It's definitely up there. Like the boys have just mentioned, to win a cup, to win a national cup is very difficult. So to be able to do it against your local rivals in a game like this, it was an amazing feeling. It was just the kind of, I don't know, it was just so joyous at the end of the match. It was like you couldn't believe it because we had all talking about potentially doing it in the build up to the cup final, thinking it might be our year. How are we going to do it? And then you get by Celtic in the semi final, and you think, Jesus, man, we got Hibs. We've beaten them in every game for the last 6 or 7 times, but this is the cup final. The what ifs, they beat us, and it was just when the whistle finally went, you knew you're going to get your hands on the trophy. It was party time, and now it's definitely up there. I was lucky enough to win a couple of promotions and down in England, but this is probably up there, probably better than them because it's an actual cup game and a one-off cup final.
Jamie and Andrew, you'd obviously come through at Hearts, so extra special in that regard. Firstly, Jamie.
Yeah, definitely. You know, I suppose it's a cliche, but it's what you dream of, isn't it? When you first break through at a football club, is you hope you go and make it the first team and try and win something. And you know, it was just, I suppose it's even for me that season. I actually didn't start the season. First 6 months, it was Marion Kello was still there, and obviously he had his own fallout and own issues with Mad Vlad that kind of allowed me to get in that season. But no, it was nice. It was nice to obviously to come through the youth system and whatnot and get to that point and be part of it.
What was your reflections, Andrew Driver?
Oh yeah, I think it was easily the highlight of my career. Obviously, we'd been there for same as Jan. We've been there for so long. We've been in youth cup semis, youth cup youth games. Probably 8 years in the first team. And and obviously I left, I think 6 months off, maybe 6 months into the next year. And it was, I think once we'd won that cup, you had the satisfaction, at least you'd achieved something, you know? So, yeah, massive. And it was, the nerves and everything that went with the game as well was what made it, I think. If you'd have won the cup, it'd have been good, but everything that went around on the outside of it made it that extra bit more special.
And Ian, obviously, you had the personal satisfaction of being sort of man of the match, boyhood Hearts fan, winning 5-1 against Hibs. I mean, sum that up.
Yeah, no, it was unreal. To sign for the club at the start and get the opportunity to play for the club that you support was massive. And it's things you dream of each season, getting to a cup final, winning trophies, silverware. But to finish my career at Hearts, playing for Hearts anyway, in my last game in the Scottish Cup final, is something that you could never dream of. But for me to get to achieve it and and live it. That was a special moment, and again, Webby said that it's going to be remembered forever. So it was good to be part of that, and such a great group of boys as well to enjoy it with.
Was there a regret that you couldn't keep that team together maybe for another season in better circumstances without all the off-field stuff, another proper go at finishing at the top end of the league?
I've said this a few times. I think that squad, if we could have kept that for another year, I'm not saying we would have won the league, but I reckon we would have pushed quite close. Maybe a couple of additions to the squad, but that squad definitely, I think we could have at least challenged it, like very, very close to it.
So, I mean, the previous season under Jim, you had been up there challenging for most of the season. You sort of fell away at the end, but you had shown that you could compete with them for a decent period of the season.
Yeah, I think going back to that season, that would have been my fourth season up at Hearts, and I think going back to that year with Jim, I think around Christmas time, we were kind of 3 points off the Old Firm. We had won 13 games on the bounce, and for me, obviously coming from England, I didn't really know too much about Hearts at that time, but after kind of playing for a couple of months and seeing the way the crowd were, especially that we were fighting right at the top end of the table, it really showed me how big a club Hearts are, and how it could be even bigger potentially with like maybe a few more, like you said, a few more additions. But I think that season, big Kevin Kyle getting injured cost us dearly, because he was kind of the fulcrum in the centre of the front three. We obviously had Kyler, obviously Templeton was flying, I was playing to the right hand side, and Rudy was playing in off Kyler, and I think it was working really well for us, and we were winning games left, right and centre. And then obviously Kev picked up a hip injury, and as soon as he got injured, everything kind of, the wheels seemed to come off a little bit. And I think you obviously don't really tend to look back with kind of regrets, but I think it was a bit of a regret to see Kev get injured, because who knows what we could have kind of potentially gone on and achieved that year.
Andrew, I mean, you speak about Mad Vlad a lot. I mean, was he a real hindrance to the team in terms of all these off-field nonsense? Andrew Driver.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Well, go to the most senior member of the team. To be honest, because we had to deal with that for 5 years of like all the questions from the beginning. Remember the Rickett and Free? It just became the usual, and I don't think any of us were surprised at the end of it. We just had to get on with it, didn't we? Obviously, we went a while where we weren't getting paid and everything. That was hard for a lot of the guys. At the time, I was bloody 21 and single. I didn't really have much worries. Some of the guys with families and stuff probably had more worries. So for us, it was a distraction, but we just got on with it. We got more important things to think about.
I mean, obviously, Ian, it was well documented that you went away and did some painting and decorating. Ryan Stevenson chose to leave. I mean, did it get that bad where people were having to make big decisions like that?
Yeah, for me, it was a bad situation. Obviously, everybody goes on about, oh, you're getting paid this, you're getting paid that, but everybody lives within their means. When I never ever told anybody how to spend their money. So no, it was tough. It was tough times, and I had, a young daughter at the time, and household bills to pay and stuff like that. So, to go for the length of time to be unpaid, like I get nothing. I found it really tough. But again, the group of boys that we had, we all pulled together, and like Webby said, that when we went onto the pitch, we seemed to forget all that and just enjoy what we were doing.
You should have just moved in with Paolo like Danny.
Danny was getting paid extra, man.
Oh, don't move so.
There's the goal. The fifth goal. I mean, what are you thinking at this moment, Jamie MacDonald? What are you doing?
Yeah, I'm just hurry up and end, to be honest. Honestly, the last half hour of that game, as big as the game was, I was just wanting to end because I wasn't doing anything. I just wanted to go and lift the trophy and celebrate with everybody and just.
I just wanted a beer.
Just enjoy it.
The celebration was good, wasn't it?
It's brilliant. It's the next game, doing things like the bus journey, back down for the City Vaults, back down to Tynecastle and that. Like that's brilliant.
They're the memories that live with you forever, aren't they? The footage on the open top bus the day after as well. The party at Tynecastle the day after. It was just, I said, you don't win like you don't win cup competitions all the time. Well, I certainly didn't. I don't know about the other lads, but you don't win these all the time. So you have to cherish the moments. And I think it's only when you kind of look back on them you realise how good the moment was. And sometimes you kind of take it for granted a little bit while you're playing, but it's only when it all ends and you look back and you think, you know what, that was an unbelievable time. And it's even now watching it back with you lads, it brings back all the memories, and it's great to be able to do this.
It took me 3 months to recover, man. I think I counted it. Yeah. Have we ever told you about the time I won the Scottish Cup? No, but like I think a month later I counted. I think there was only 2 days of the month where I hadn't been out having a drink and celebrating. It was like the best month of my life. Really?
Because of the...
Yeah. Actually, no, a bit after. I met the missus and the kid was born.
Was that just the effect of winning this game that had on you that summer?
Oh yeah, it was obviously, yeah. It was just brilliant, wasn't it? It was a difficult season. You win that game, and you just want to go out and enjoy yourself. And
yeah,
it was. I think if you saw the start of the next year, how bad we were all recovering.
Where did you go after the game? You got the bus back to Tynecastle, and then did you have a function at Tiny?
Straight to the Gorgas Street, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was a function. I think Chelsea were on in the Champions League. I vaguely remember that being on in the background, wasn't it?
Karaoke.
Yeah, we were all steamboats.
Usually when you drive that ended up on the...
You know, singing and dancing.
One of you two, I can remember one of you two being on the drums on the stage at the end of the night.
Sleeves were you not singing though?
Yeah, I probably was, man, not me.
Sleeves loved old karaoke.
I remember after that function at Tynecastle, like, I don't know what time it was, because the missus were with us one night. It was like a family thing. Yeah. I remember I was just standing on the side of the road, right outside Tynecastle with the missus. There was nobody about. I thought, how the f*** it ended up like this? And some random guy just pulled in the car and went, Stephen Elliott, isn't he? He was like, yeah, jump in. He took me home, like, and that was my last memory of the night, like some random taxi driver taking us back. Because like, you start to think, how are we going to get back here? But good times.
Like you said there, those sleeves, they're the memories that you like. Even the little things come down Corgi Road when we were all outside the bus on coming down Corgi Road, and then
it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
It just
the next day.
The next day, party and all that sort of stuff. It was they are the real.
It's like a release, isn't it, after all the effort and kind of build? Because the cup, there was a huge gap, wasn't there, between the semi-final and the cup final? There was a lot of time to think about it, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then it's like kind of that release when you win and you think, okay, now I can relax and just kind of, you're not kind of gonna. For me, anyway, I was thinking I'm not leaving Hearts after playing my last game after losing the Hibs, and I was more like I can leave there with me head held high type of thing, and it was a good feeling, great feeling.
Danny, go ahead.
Can anybody remember the day after being at Tynecastle and Gary Glenn running out the tunnel?
No.
Just came to me.
I vaguely remember that, yeah.
He ran it like as if he couldn't run. Remember what Gaz was like? People were egging him on to do stuff. And he ran out. Was like it was a little aeroplane.
I don't remember that. Yeah.
And he made the sound effects.
Maybe I won't say the details, but all I can think of with you and Gary Glenn is when we went to the Corinthian on the Christmas night out that time.
On the Sunday?
Yeah, the day after.
I can't remember that. I just remember.
He was bad.
Were we not down Ayrshire? Was that the one we were down?
No, the one when we were in the Corinthian, we went to the casino.
Aye, but was that the Sunday?
I think it was the day after, yeah.
Were we not down in Ayr on the Saturday night?
Aye.
Oh, that was horrible.
That was brilliant. That when Daz Bar
slept at the petrol station. He slept at the petrol station. I must have been allowed to go that Darren was asleep at a petrol pump. I think I remember driving past them in the taxi.
Oh, man.
How did we end up going down there, man? Mehdi Taoul. I forgot about him, by the way.
But he came on late on. What's your memories of him? Was he a big part of the dressing room?
He used to live near me. He's a nice fella.
Yeah.
Mehdi was technically very good.
Oh,
he was a
he
very
is.
good
Brilliant player.
Comfortable with the ball.
He ended up playing with Roberto Carlos, I think.
Yeah, did I?
In Turkey. Yeah.
Bloody hell.
Not bad. Where is that guy now?
Don't know.
Morocco. Was he Moroccan?
Yep.
Yeah. Who's still playing out, you guys then?
Me.
Gamma.
Last
month.
Does Sunday League count?
Junior Scout.
So, at the end of the game, did you speak to Vlad? Did he come into the dressing room? What part did he have to do with the celebrations?
Did he come in and say well done at the end?
He did come in,
No.
yeah.
I can't remember.
I remember Jim Jeffries came in, which was a nice touch.
Right.
Yeah, the Jet. I remember the Jet.
Yeah, Jim came in, like, Paolo invited Jim in and he obviously shook everyone's hands. I thought that was a nice touch considering he was kind of part of the journey at the start of the season. That always stuck in my mind.
I can't remember.
He was genuinely buzzing as well. Like, you know the way in case some managers will get sacked and they kind of hold a grudge, but you could tell Jim was genuinely buzzing that the club had won the cup and beaten him. He's a proper Heartsman, like.
Yeah.
It was pretty much his team, wasn't it? It was his team.
Yeah.
The players.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
During that season, did you have sympathy? Obviously, Steve took the decision to move on when all that trouble was kicking off during the season. Could you understand that decision?
Yeah, I think everyone's situations were different. I think obviously it was hard for us all, and everyone, like you said, everyone's situation is different. And Steve obviously felt that it was right for him and his family at the time to move on, and you totally respect that decision as a teammate and as a mate. And I think it was obviously Blackie went and done what he had to do, and everyone had different situations. So I think obviously it was something that he felt was right for him, and that was the main thing. And I don't think anyone ever grudged or ever said that it was down to him.
I think as footballers, like every player is different and they're in a different situation than each individual. So wherever a player's choice is, then you have to respect it. Sometimes you read about like players saying, "Oh, this player's not playing. He wants this amount of money." Like, will that affect the dressing room? For me, during my career, that really never bothered me because as long as you signed a contract that you were happy with and you were playing away, then you can't really be too upset what anybody else is doing. That was always the way I looked at it. Concentrate on your own situation. So. Because Steve was doing well as well before he went, and obviously I think part of him probably thought it was a good opportunity for him. Was it Ipswich he went at the time, was it?
Yeah.
It was a good move for him, like, so to speak, down to Ipswich in the Championship. I know it didn't work out unbelievably for him, but it was still an experience for him, and I'm sure it was a big decision which he didn't take lightly.
Danny, after
looking at his Instagram,
on the Sunday, you and Gowser went to Woodburn Club with Lockie, is that right?
Yeah, we'd it took a bit, but it was a good laugh. It was we'd been on the up top bus, and Lockie says, "Oh, come down to the local booze." I think we were all meeting. I think there was a few of us meeting down on the night time, and so me and Gals said, "Yeah, come on, we'll go along for a couple of hours." And walked through the door, and there was 300-400 people there, and it just turned into absolute chaos. So, but again, it was good because it was something completely different. You got to enjoy it. People, obviously, it meant the world to the boys there at night. I think we met you in town, didn't we, Driver, that night after the war?
I think so, yeah.
And I think there was a few of us, and so again, I think it was just like you say, you just didn't want that moment to end. You didn't want to sort of stop the partying or stop the enjoyment. You wanted it to last forever because of the feeling that you'd had during the game, during the celebrations, and obviously you just wanted it to continue.
I mean, how many of you were still at Hearts the following season?
Yeah. I was still there.
I was gone.
So 3 of you still there, 3 of you gone. Yeah. I mean,
where did you go next, Lee?
Sorry?
Where did you go next?
Coventry.
Ian, you went to Rangers?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just never happened for you there.
Well, it was good, the the first 2.5 years was fine. I'll be honest, the only time it went sour was when Stuart McCall came in. I played every game, or I was involved when I was fit, and then he come in, and well, I wouldn't like to meet him in a dark alley anyway, because he wouldn't come back out. But I'll be honest, he knows that I said it anyway.
No, I like him, Black. No.
Are you sure?
I always think the call great. Good judge character, if I'm honest.
You what?
I'm the ginger, I like driver.
What? That's not very nice.
He was a wanker. Good coach, very good coach, but he was a wanker.
You've just been substituted in the cup final here. I mean, that must have been a great moment, going off, taking the applause of the supporters.
Yeah, no, it was special. Again, just to get the applause and appreciation for obviously the performance that I kind of put in, and for what I've heard anyway. It was nice to come off and, you know, say goodbye really in my last game. So no, it was again obviously to lift the cup made it even better.
And at the end of the game, obviously, it's just a case of taking it all in. You get that chance to be together and just jump on each other and all that. I mean, how good was that, Stephen?
Yeah, as I said, it was unbelievable. The final whistle went, and it was just an amazing. The crowd I always remember when they were singing the Heart song. The crowd when they were just singing, and there was no music. It was like that stood with me. It was kind of like hairs on the back of your neck standing up. Like it was just. Yeah, all the players are there, all the players' kids and family were on the pitch, and it was just a nice moment to share with everybody. And again, when you look back on these situations, they mean a little bit more than what they do at the time, because at the time you don't really take it all in.
The good things is like Gogsy Patterson as well, getting to celebrate with people like that.
Yeah, man,
Yeah, we Gogsy.
Yeah.
Guy.
Yeah, he loved it. Like that's what I'm saying. Lockie as well. Lockie was a lunatic, wasn't he? To be fair. That was when I first signed for Hearts. I always remember my first derby game. I think it was the first game I started for Hearts was at Easter Road, and I remember Lockie coming in and he was like, "This game is huge, like Slaves." I was like, "Yeah," like thinking because I played in a few derbies down in England. He's like, "No, this game is everything." He goes, "These." And he was going around the dressing room, just spitting all over the tiles in the dressing room and all. And I was like, okay, he doesn't like this club. But that's kind of that. But it was a good thing in a way, because it made you realise, as somebody like from Dublin, like that didn't really know too much about Hearts, how much it meant to kind of people in and around Edinburgh. And for that, like I would say Jim Jeffries and Gary Locke were brilliant at kind of letting people know what it meant to play for Hearts. And I don't know, I really enjoyed my time playing with the club. And as I said, the finish with this game was probably things that you could only dream of.
Andy Webster, obviously we've spoken about Rudy Scatchell before, but as a footballer, you played with him in both these spells at Hearts. What was he like as a person, as a character in the dressing room? I mean, obviously he's a big showman with the supporters, but what was he like as a teammate?
Yeah, very good. His English was excellent as well. He had a real drive and determination, but he had a good way about him. Was always encouraging of his teammates, always wanting people to do better. So, no, really, really nice guy, and had 2 unbelievably successful periods. His goal scoring was ridiculous. As I say, and his contribution to the club was massive, and rightly so. He gets the adulation that he does, because he made a significant impact in the history of the football club.
That's Pat Fenlon's just been sent to the stand.
I know he's not very dressed. He's not very dressed for a cup final.
Yeah, I know Pat as well. I kind of knew Pat through, because he's from Dublin as well. I kind of knew him, and I always remember the Hearts fans were singing there's only one Pat Fenlon, and I just thought, I felt a little bit sorry for him, if I'm honest, because he's not a bad lad, Pat, but it was a little bit funny, wasn't it? He just lost the plot. I think I spoke to him after. I've done a little bit of kind of work on the radio with him back in Ireland, and I've spoken to him about the game, and he actually said to me, he says he had nothing in that squad. He says looking at the match, he says there was no togetherness. There was players in there that were kind of against him, and his hands were kind of tied behind his back, he says. And it showed on the pitch, though. It was just like there was no togetherness. I think he'd had a fight with Lee Griffiths a few weeks previous during that season as well. I think rumours had come out, and he had Billy Brown in there, didn't he, as assistant manager?
I know.
The little
He jumped ship.
secret in it. But I don't know. It's just one of them. There he is, carving the cup.
Was there any needle with the Hibs players at full time? Were any of them like bad losers, if you like? Was there any?
They're probably just desperate to get off the pitch.
I don't even remember them. To be honest, they showed nothing on the day. That, to be honest, they didn't. I think they just couldn't wait to get off the pitch because they were just. It wasn't to be their day, was it? It was all about heart.
And that's full time now. They're getting the medals now. I mean, what did that mean to you, Andrew Driver, when you got your hands on the cup?
It's something you see when you're young all the time, isn't it? You never think, well, that's everything you'd want to hope to do. So, yeah, it's a good feeling. Rudy took the biscuit though. Remember, he stood on the ledge.
Oh yeah.
That's going to be like the famous picture ever, isn't it?
Good picture, to be fair, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a good picture.
To be fair, do you know what I thought? Nobody gave me the medal. I thought this medal's absolutely shy. Little tiny little shitty thing.
By the way, they are terrible. They are terrible.
But it's not. It's just the kind of what it means, isn't it? Rather than what it looks like.
Did you all keep your medals?
Sorry?
Did you all keep your medals? Have you all still got them?
Yeah. This video's good now because you see all the people in and around the squad that you don't remember as clear, and a lot of the young guys and things like that.
As we're walking up here, Webby, remember you trying to freaking yank my shorts down?
When's that?
Watch, just as we get to the top of the steps, I fall back on you because you're about to you try and pull my shorts down.
I was always remember them little blue.
There you go.
Ridges. Go on, Ridges.
Big Ridges, aye.
I mean, Rudy's obviously standing on the ledge with the wig on. I mean, was he like that in the dressing room? Was he the main man all the time in the dressing room? Did he want to be the centre of attention?
No.
Quiet,
wasn't
Quiet.
Yeah.
Rudy, I think maybe he was a little bit older. He had his misses and everything, but he wasn't. It wasn't really in his character like that. He was never a showboat. He was never arrogant or anything. Like he could have been very arrogant if he wanted to be with everything he achieved at the club.
Quite quiet in the dressing room, wasn't he? Like
yeah.
On training day.
He had a quiet drive about him, though, didn't he? He was kind of like, you know, he kind of, things matter to him. Like, if Rudy said something and he kind of said something to you, you knew it was affecting him because he didn't say much, but when he did speak, it kind of meant something.
Yeah.
I think that's us now, guys. I mean, superb, just sort of reminiscing over it. I mean, just to sort of sum up, Andy Webster, you've obviously won the Cup of Hearts, you're a legend. I mean, just a great moment to sort of reflect on.
Yeah, the highlight. As I said earlier, being able to achieve that success and the magnitude of that game going into it was unbelievably huge. I think for us as football players, you just try and focus on the match. And I was confident going into that match that we would beat them with the quality we had in the squad. So no, I think it was a tremendous achievement, and as I said before, something that'll live with us forever.
Do you anticipate having a reunion in a couple of years?
Yeah, hopefully the club can sort that out. It'd be nice to catch up with everybody. It'd be good to kind of see how everybody's getting on now and reminisce a little bit, because sometimes as footballers you don't get to sit down and reminisce about your past achievements as well. So it's nice to sit and do these types of things.
Just find out what people are up to and where they're about as well, isn't it? It takes a bit of organisation because players do be all over the place these days, don't they? Different areas and that.
Well, Driver.
Can we bring our kids to the reunion?
We don't have enough space for yours. And you, Jammer.
Get the crash, man. We need to get the club to get a crash.
I think this shows
Paolo on, shouldn't we?
It'd been good to get Paolo on.
We'll never get a word in.
We need to get everyone back. It'd be good. I think this shows though, like with football, everyone moves on, and you don't speak to guys as much as you'd like to. But you're put in a situation like this, and it feels like I've seen the guys yesterday. Like it's not as if I've not seen them in. It must be 5 or 6 years since I've seen any of yous.
You're all on the podium just now. You've got the trophy. I think Paolo's about to get chucked in the air. Can you remember that?
No.
Danny's idea.
Chuck him off and then walk away.
Steve Paolo's favourite.
No, I don't know where this is coming from. Blackie with his face. Together.
It's just
Come
that
on, Danny, now don't deflect it.
you still speak to him now, Danny. I see you on Facebook.
All the managers that I played under.
They have like, do you know, like those reunions on Facebook with all the pictures together? They come up all the time.
Oh.
Just finally, was there one player in that team? I mean, I suppose a lot of people would point to Rudy, but was he the man that made that team, if you like? Just give it the sort of X factor that it needed in games like that.
I think he was. I think he when in the big games like cup final against Hibs, he always popped up. He popped up with 2 goals, and all through that season, and some of the goals in some of the games, he literally got us out so many holes. And I would have to say, Rudy for me was definitely the star of the show that season.
It was, do you know the thing with Rudy? He was one of those players, see if you were on the bench, you'd be sat there and it's like, look at this guy's doing nothing. I should be playing, he's doing nothing. Then he comes back 2 goals in.
He never moved. He never he never really done anything, and then he'd just pick up the ball from like 25, 20 yards out and he'd just rifle it. Did he score 2 hat-tricks against St Mirren?
Yeah.
I think so,
and it was just like, you're watching that and you're thinking, is he actually done that again?
Aberdeen as well.
Aberdeen at
I don't think him not bad. I'm like
rocket, but he was terrible, and then he just put the ball and he pinged it into the top bin.
The power he used to kind of generate in his strike was unbelievable, wasn't it?
You're shooting comps every Friday, man. Fucking, if you had Woody on your partner, you're buzzing.
Even if he's only a yard out, he wouldn't think about like, I'll just side foot it past Jam or whatever. He'd just smash it as hard as he could. Then he'd take you into the net with the ball. He didn't care. It was just him. The power he generated was unreal.
Brilliant. Thanks very much, guys. Excellent. Listen to your memories of A Momentous Day for Hearts. This was the 2012 Scottish Cup final rerun by Big Hearts, and we hope you've all enjoyed it. And please check out Big Hearts and all the great work that they've done in the community to help the vulnerable families and individuals. Okay, all the best and take care. Thank you.